Alright guys, so we are going to be setting up the mission here for Task Force Alpha for Phase 7 of Operation Black Spear. As I've told you guys the last couple of times on stream, I'm going to be the primary Zeus for Task Force Alpha for the foreseeable future, and obviously, for obvious reasons, I don't want to stream me building the mission, but I am going to record it for you guys, so I can still post it up and you guys can kind of see my thought process on how I build the mission and why I do certain things. So the first thing I like to do when I get in game is to kind of set up the environment, if you will, set up the time and stuff like that. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is get my time set to basically make it look decent here. So we'll go with roughly 4 a.m. See how that looks. And it's about right for where I want it to start, because I want time to obviously progress as they're moving, but not while everybody's loading in and shit. So I'm going to drop the time acceleration to 0. And then we can actually get out to the AO and start our building. So they are going to be heading up tonight here to Amadeus, or Amadeus as we were calling it during the big staff meeting this week. So this is basically our AO for the night, this whole town and stuff like that. So the first thing I generally do once I get into the AO is I will set up my big garrison group, basically. What I'm going to do is spawn a bunch of squads down here. And I just spawn a fuck ton of guys down. I probably end up deleting some or maybe adding some sometimes, but I'll just throw a shit ton of them down and then garrison all of them here. I'm going to set my radius out to about 500 meters. Inside only no, fill evenly. I'm going to say yes, then hit OK, and then I'll toss my guys around. And I'm just going to leave them like that for now. I'll probably end up adding another group to this. But for right now, I'm just going to leave those guys there. And the last thing I'll do is come back through, take a look at it, probably add some more guys, and reposition all my garrison guys, make sure they're looking the right directions and so on. So now that I've at least got some guys down here, next thing I'm going to start doing is looking where I want to set up some vehicles and fighting positions and stuff like that. So the first thing that's sticking out to me is definitely this hilltop up here. I'd like to get something up there, but first I want to look and see if it's even feasible for a vehicle to get up there. It looks like it is. This isn't too steep of a slope to be able to drive up. It's a bit of a long drive, but you'd be able to drive up that slope, so I think I can set something up here. I'm thinking maybe like right in here. I can get it kind of right on this crown here. And those trees are kind of in the way. Right here, that's a pretty decent spot right here, fairly flat. Got pretty decent sight lines across the town. Not great over there, but not horrible either. Yeah, I think we'll set up a vehicle right here. Probably one over on that hilltop as well. I wonder how the sight lines are from the crest right up here. And kind of dog shit thanks to those trees. Yeah, I think right here is going to be our spot. Right on the tip of this little knoll right here. And I think we'll send an MBT up here. So let's go to our elite guard, tank, and a nice T90 setting up here. Looks a lot darker than normal. I guess it's just because of the time of day, but yeah. Now that I've got the vehicle set up here, I'm going to take over the gunner and actually look and see what my sight lines look like as the gunner. Make sure I can depress the barrel down far enough to actually be able to engage shit down there. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Alright, yeah, that'll work for me. We'll hop back into Zeus here. And I don't know if I actually want to set up a fighting position for this or not. Yeah, fuck it. I'll set up a small one here. Just do the 3 Hescos. And let's see. 5 blocks short. Actually, that might get in the way. Yeah, that's going to get in the way of his barrel. That one's definitely going to get in the way of his barrel. Alright, yeah, he's not getting any Hescos. But I am going to save one of those there, one of those there. I'm not going to use them here. I'm going to see if they'll potentially be usable for a fighting position over here. I want to put another vehicle up here. The hill's not quite as tall as what I was hoping it would be. Over here might have a little bit. Nah, that puts that hill in the way. Oh, this will cover the whole base of the town here. We'll set up a BMP on this end. Yeah, fuck it, we'll use a BMP 3. And I am going to set up a fighting position for this vehicle using these Hescos here. So what I'll generally do when I'm setting up a position for these types of vehicles, I'll put a 5 block like that right up in front of it. That's a little close. I'll set one like that. Do my Control C and Control V. Throw 2 more down. Put these 2 at an angle like this. Then I'll grab my 3. One of those. Throw that over there. And I'll put this guy up along the top here to protect the sides a little bit. So it does limit the angle of engagement that they're able to hit, but it also protects the vehicle quite a bit more. So the only way you can really engage this thing is from the direct front or from the rear. You can't really hit it in the flanks all that well. Oh, there we go. We got those set up now. And, you know, doing it in Zeus, you can't really set these up where they don't float a little bit. When you do it in when Eden, you can partially put them down inside of it so it doesn't float at all. We got that vehicle there. I know the main way I'm going to want to set up is looking to the direct south here and to the west, because that's the only way they can really approach. They could try to come in from the north, but there's quite a bit of AA defense up there. So I'm not really concerned about that too much. So I do know I want something that can see down the fucking road here. Possibly over here. Something watching the road leading up to the town. And maybe set up BTR over here. We're going to shut his headlights off. Have him sitting here kind of overlooking the road. I'm not real sure. Can't really tell. No, that is the road right there. I couldn't really tell if the road would be in deflate or not. But that should work in terms of overlooking that. And he's got some pretty good foliage there. Kind of concealing them, and then the tree over top of them a little bit, obviously. So if they come from the west or the northwest, he should be able to see them fairly well there. If they come in from the south, hopefully the tank in the BMP-3 over there should be able to watch his rear if anything comes down from this hilltop or something. Hopefully they'll be able to see it before they're able to engage this. We got that there. Probably set up GAZ at the roadblock here. And we'll set him up next to the bunker. I don't want him out in front of it. We'll set him up next to the bunker, and he can kind of cover this little segment of road and shit leading up to it. Oh, and I do need to garrison these vehicles, so This is actually really nice that you can garrison vehicles. Something that we kind of recently figured out that you can do. We just never tried it before. So that where it says did not find sufficient free positions, you can basically ignore that. The vehicle is garrisoned. It will not move unless somebody hops in and remote controls it, which is really fucking nice. The GAZ, though, I'll leave that ungarrisoned. So I think I might move that GAZ up here, kind of overwatch that area. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Pull this GAZ sitting up here, and he can kind of overwatch that roadblock area. It's a better position for him. And actually, this over here is going to be a better position for him. See if I can kind of slide him up in here. There we go. Now the vehicle's a little bit protected at least. And I'm going to say fuck it and actually go ahead and garrison him right here. I don't want him moving. I want him to stay in that overwatch position here. Let's see here. So, at least for me, I spend a lot of time, not necessarily placing units or anything like that. I just spend a lot of time looking at the AO and just kind of seeing where I would want stuff, where I want to place units, where I want to place vehicles and stuff like that, and just kind of looking to see what makes sense in terms of troop placement and things like that. And I'll spend a lot of time just kind of flying around like this, looking at different sight lines and what makes sense. Like I said, and, you know, I actually don't spend all that much time placing units. The vast majority of it is just spent kind of flying around, looking to see where shit would be in a good spot at. And then the bulk of my time is going to be spent moving these guys around, making sure they're facing good directions and shit like that. And I'm not going to show you guys that in the recording because it's just monotonous work, but basically it's just moving guys around to better positions and making sure they're not staring at walls and shit like that. So let's see if there's a... What do these guys have for turrets? Cords, mortars, radar launcher. I don't have any SPG 9s or anything. I would like to put something right on top of this fucking hill, covering this right here. Let me... I'm gonna steal an SPG 9 from somebody. Okay, where'd it put it? Don't fall over. Alright. Now, I can just take one of these guys that I have garrisoned and run him over here and throw him in there. Face that... No, whatever. It's not going to face that direction for me, but one of the guys will have to RC that. Actually, I might be able to put him... Can you see over that ridge? No, not really. Turn him a little bit, make him look semi the correct direction. No, of course now you're just going to turn all the way the fuck around on me. Fucking AI, man. Okay. Just fuck me, I guess. Alright, that position will work for that, though. And I know I'm going to want a couple of squads on patrol, so I can set those up now. So we'll get a squad out there. Squad moving along the riverbed. One moving along the riverbed there. One here, and then one up by the vehicles. And this is something that I use quite a bit in terms of these squads out on patrol, like on the perimeter. It's pretty common when I build missions for me to do that. It's just a good way to have kind of an early warning system, if you will. So I'll use Alt and right click and set these guys just up on a basic roll path there. Set these guys to safe, and I'm going to have these guys patrol path move down the riverbed, and then up here to the road. And same thing with these guys. Have them kind of go around this way. For some reason this guy is stuck in a rock or something. I have these guys kind of stick on the back side of this little bit of defilade here. And these guys, I kind of want them to stay in this valley. I don't really want them to go up onto the ridge line. All right, so we got our patrols moving. And one thing that's important with these patrols and stuff like this, when you set these patrols up, one, you want to make sure that they, start moving in the first place. And then every so often you want to kind of check back on them and make sure that they're still doing their patrol route. They're not hung up on rocks or any stupid shit like that. Now we need to set up our... I guess we can set up a mortar position. We do have fucking artillery guns right down the street here. Right here, we've got a few artillery guns set up, but I'll also set up a couple of mortars down here. Now, another thing that I do that is somewhat different than what most guys will do, I don't tend to put my mortar tube right in the center of towns or shit like that, because it's where you expect them to be, is, in the center of whatever the enemy, position is. It's where you always expect the people's, or expect their mortar tubes to be at. I tend to look around for a place that isn't so obvious, like maybe back here on the back side of this hill, set up like down in here, just because it's not so obvious that they'll be there. Or even when they start searching for them, they're going to be searching inside the town. They're not going to be searching just outside the town, out in like this little ditch. So I'll set, god damn it, set mortars up here, include the crew in them. Hopefully they won't fucking keep tipping over on me. That guy did. Alright, looks like they're all good now. Right, so now we got a mortar position set up, kind of not in an obvious position. And when we pulled out of here before, there were... or no, that was... back there? Where the hell was that we pulled out of when the tanks were following us? I don't remember where the hell we were at for that. I think that... or no, that was way up here. That's when we pulled out of that area. Okay, so that's where basically... so we had one tank that was on this hill, and then there was one on this hill as well. That might be a little far out there. Yeah, there isn't really sight lines out. There's a little bit on the face of that town there, but it's not great. Could transfer it over to this hill, though. And this one we might be able to set up an actual fighting position for, because it is fairly decent slope on here. So we'll grab us another tank here. Put him down there. Have him facing down slope. Him set up like that. And then I'll run over here. Use control and select all of these Hescos. Copy those. And it's not going to paste them on top of each other and shit, so I'll still have to move them around again, but still I've got the shit that I need. So I'll pull these over here. And then kind of line everything up. Make sure that's, yeah, that's going to be perfect. I'll pull these ones up. All right, so we got those set up. He's in a pretty decent position. Got great fucking view out to the south and southwest, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I think we're looking pretty good, aside from the garrison group, which, like I said, I'll end up moving those around kind of off camera, if you will, just because that's tedious, boring work that doesn't really mean anything. It's just a matter of getting them in decent positions. Is my patrol down here moving? All right, yeah, they're moving. All right. Other than that, I think I'm good. In terms of reinforcements and stuff, we'll have things come at them from the west, obviously, right down the road here. Also have some stuff coming in from the north and northwest, coming down from COP Olympia, which is like right here, basically. So we'll be able to bring some stuff in from there. And yeah, just kind of bring troops in from behind these hills and shit like that. We'll also be sending a fast mover at them at some point, and potentially an attack helicopter. We'll see. I'm not real sure on that one yet. I haven't made up my mind to exactly how much air shit I want to send at them. So that's pretty much it. Obviously, it's, it was fairly quick. Again, this is just kind of the basics of setting it up. I'm still going to be spending quite a bit of time moving troops around and garrisoning and shit like that. But that's really the easiest part. That's the monotonous part. But that's how I set up a mission. I spend time just kind of flying around, looking at my different sight lines and where I would like stuff if I were, acting as the enemy commander and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. It's one of those things, once you're familiar with it and familiar with all the buttons and where stuff is and so on, you can do it pretty damn quickly. It's not something that you're going to be able to, knock out a task force size mission in a couple of minutes. It takes some time, but yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and hopefully I'll see all of you later.